Others, that's just out of the cards for possibly forever.
And it has major implications. This has changed in the last 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Who can buy a house?
You know, baby boomers sort of had this reasonable expectation, and for most part was realized that if you worked hard, kept your head down, saved your pennies, you could buy a house, retire. Your house would probably be paid off by the time you retire, and that gives you some security in your old age. Now, for people starting families and people trying to put down roots, so the millennials, the Gen Zs now are starting to get into that range. They have a more precarious situation. They can't necessarily afford to buy a house. So they're having to look into alternative living arrangements where you get, say, a larger house and you get 3 or 4 people that co-sign. Every single person in that house had this great space, and it actually ended up being cheaper per person than if they were renting a condo to themselves, and it had this inbuilt community. I think everybody's working towards solutions in the current environment to live securely. Buying a house is great for some, others that's just out of the cards for possibly forever.
And it has major implications down the stream.
Everybody needs a space to retreat to, and if you don't own the whole house or you're not in charge of the whole house, you have to find those spaces, and then how do you define those spaces and what do you need to have privacy in those spaces becomes a thing.
If you're Sherwin-Williams, you have a limited market on who can paint their wall a deep crimson red. Whereas if you're in like a consumer good like scented candles, that is a way to customize the space temporarily that is accessible to renters. So there are repercussions for this across the board.